You may have heard of it. And these two remind me in so many ways of that play, not just because of Susanna's romantic tendencies and Nick being the second coming of Leo DiCaprio circa 1996. But it's a play that deals with love at first sight. And I mean, many of us heard Bob tell the story last night of their first meeting and why they may not jump all the way to love at first sight. I mean, it was going well. And that term can often be scary, but through the perspective of love at first sight is wonderful. And I think we might get into it. If you remember also in the play, Juliet stays in her window while Romeo is in the bushes and in the trees, like looking through her window. I mean, that is straight stalker stuff right there. But through the perspective of love, it's romantic. So early in their relationship, when Sue's got an apartment only a block away from Nick, and so many people would look at that and be like, wow, crazy girlfriend. We know better that through the perspective of love, it was okay. That's the way we're telling the story now, honey. But we knew they were gonna work. We knew they would work. I mean, we could list their attributes on and on. When I think of Nick, I just think of his fierce loyalty to those for whom he cares. When I think of Suze, when you talk to her, she makes you feel like the most special person that she's ever met. And they do that for us, like now they give these gifts to each other forever. How can it not work? So they go through their relationship and it works and they got engaged and we knew it was gonna happen and it happened. They told their friends and their families and their bartenders. There's a lot of overlap in those groups. And now we come together today for the marriage. And again, don't think I'm an expert, but I'll use what I do to try to give it some perspective. And I'll go with a little bit of an analogy, okay? The way I see it, marriage is like a beautiful house of love with a room filled with like 18 to 25 throw pillows that you're not allowed to touch. Don't know if you can picture that room, Suze. And you go in those rooms and it seems silly. Why are there so many throw pillows for which I'm not supposed to be lying on? And it may even irritate you a little bit. But think of those throw pillows as all those little bumps in marriage along the way. They're silly, they're irritating, but they're the problems, there's the fight. There's big problems, but that's in the basement of the house. We're not talking about that today, okay? But as long as you do have those 2 or 3 that you're allowed to grab, that you're allowed to hold on to, then it's gonna be all right looking at the rest. I mean, because you gotta have that pillow that means communication. You gotta have the pillow that's listen. Sometimes you just gotta listen. You can't solve all the problems, just listen, it's okay. You gotta have a pillow called respect. You gotta have compromise. Because if you just have a few throw pillows that you're always leaning on, you'll get comfy with them. You'll lay back. And it's nice. And you're never gonna want to get up. So, I started off with Romeo and Juliet. And, I mean, spoilers, it didn't end too well for them. They weren't too hot at marriage. And scholars still have called that play the greatest love story of all time. That story is for you two to tell. And let's start writing a chapter right now, okay? Could everyone please rise? As family, you all form a community of support that surrounds Susanna and Nick. Each of you, by your presence here today, is being called upon to uphold them in loving each other. Always stand beside them, never between them. Offer them your love and your support, not your judgment. Encourage them when they need encouragement, and listen to them when they ask for advice. In these ways, you can honor this marriage into which they will have come to be joined today? Do you offer your love and support to strengthen their marriage and honor this family created by their union? Please answer by saying, "We do."
We do.
Thank you. You may be seated. Now, Susanna and Nick, do you, with family and friends as your witness, present yourselves willingly and of your own accord to be joined in marriage? Do you pledge to help each other develop your hearts and minds, cultivating compassion, generosity, trust, patience, ethics, and wisdom as you age together and undergo the trials and triumphs of life? Do you commit yourselves to each other's happiness and self-fulfillment throughout all of the changes in your life, holding on to each other forevermore? And will you promise to care for each other in the joys and sorrows of life? Will you promise to hold gently the hearts that you have given each other and share the responsibility for growth and enrichment of your lives together? Then please turn to each other and share the vows that you have written. Suze, would you please deliver yours first?
Nick, I stand before you today with a full heart, filled with all the memories of the last 4 years. This lives this most wonderful day, as well as the excitement of our journey that we are starting together as husband and wife. When we first met, I very quickly knew you were exceptional. You're truly everyone's favorite person, as shown by the many loved ones present here today from every stage of your life. You make it a priority to stay connected, and to be present with those around you, no matter how much time has passed. Wildly absurd nicknames, like the baby, goat, Mawpaw, and Nickel Pickle. All of which continue to be completely lost on me, but are always said with love and admiration. You put everyone around you at ease, including yourselves. Since we first met, you have truly been good. I have truly been in awe of your calming and kind presence, your genuine positivity, your charm, your intelligence, your smile, and the way that you connect with anyone and everyone that you meet. You're a man of honor, man of love, man of family, and I'm overwhelmed by it since you chose me as your wife. We built a relationship with a foundation of giddy love, respect, admiration, and genuine appreciation for each other's differences. In the time that we have known one another, you've taught me so much to not spend the small stuff, to have the courage to ask for your help, to not put the whole world on my shoulders and to accept imperfection, to be grateful for the many blessings that we have around us. But most importantly, you have taught me that you are a man who I can trust implicitly, to care for me while allowing me to care for you. From this day forward, I vow to love you as you deserve to be loved. I promise to respect you, to take care of you, to practice patience, to compromise. I promise to stand by your side with pride, encouragement, and support, while continuing to challenge and ground you. As we grow old together, I vow to reminisce on our most treasured memories, while continuing to make new memories surrounded by our loved ones and the family that we will build together. I promise to live a full life with you, rich in love, family, and laughter. And above all, I vow to put you and our marriage before everything. I promise to commit to putting in the time and effort to grow deeper in our love, to love you through thick and thin, to never give up, and to live by the 1,000 promises that we exchanged today. I'm truly blessed that I found you, love of my life, and I vow to show that gratitude each and every day for the rest of our lives. Oh, God.
Would you kindly deliver your vows?
Bear with me, I've got to make sure I can read my own writing. Susanna, as I stand here today, I can't help but look at how we got to be standing here on our wedding day, and how excited I am to spend our lives together. The last 4 years have been the best of my life. There are several instances I think back to along the way from the first 4 years. When you're meeting my family for the first time and being so nervous that my newborn nephew cried right when you picked him up. To meeting your family not long after and getting grilled for 30 minutes from Bonnie, your family friend. Very chatty, well, no one else came to my aid. A test I'd like to think I passed. I remember you not flinching when I told you I was between houses when we met and living on my friend's couch in the interim. Clearly you weren't into me for my money. I remember you always having my back, something many cab drivers in Baltimore can attest to if they thought you were trying to take advantage of it. I remember seeing how great of a daughter, sister, friend, cousin, girlfriend, and countless other relationships you were. So selfless, always thinking about others first, something I've always admired about you. I remember seeing how much you love life, always heavily calendaring us because you never wanted to miss out on anything life has to offer. Most of all, I remember thinking how much I love you and wanted to marry you. I promised to always respect you, to always protect you, to always be there for you no matter what. I vowed to be by your side during the good times and the tough times, be a shoulder to cry on, and your best friend to laugh with. I vow to never take you and what we have for granted and enjoy every day together in life.
Susie and Nick will now exchange their rings. The circle of wedding rings symbolizes the eternity of their love. May it comfort you and bring you great happiness throughout your daily lives. Nick, please take Susanna's ring and place it on her finger. Repeat after me. I give you this ring as a sign that I choose you.
I give you this ring as a sign I choose you.
To be my lover, my partner, and my best friend to the end of days.
To be my lover, my partner, my best friend throughout the days.
Wear it, think of me, and know that I love you.
Wear it, think of me, and know that I love you.
With this ring, I seal my promise to be a faithful and loving husband.
With this ring, I seal my purpose as a loving promise as a loving and faithful husband.
I give you the ring as a symbol of our unity, love, and loyalty.
I give you the ring as a symbol of our love, loyalty, and unity.
Susanna, repeat after me. I give you this ring as a sign that I choose you. To be my lover, my partner, and my best friend until the end of days. Wear it, think of me, and know that I love you. With this ring, I seal my promise to be a faithful and loving wife.
With this ring, I promise.
I seal my promise.
I seal my promise.
To be a faithful.
Faithful.
Okay.